sending a special what's happening to all the beautiful people out there that's tuning in to the Knowledge Experience. And that is for the first time. Hello, 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 welcome to What It Do. It's your main man, Robi Joe. We just trying out something new. This is a new concept called Inspire to Innovate, where I, your boy, Robi Joe, will be speaking to some of my friends who are entrepreneurs, dream chasers. Oh man, I'm so excited. I can't even get all the words out. I hope you understand how great this feels to finally be sitting here amongst greatness. Today I got a special guest that's going to be my brother, Litty Willie. He's in the building with me. Let me transfer that over to him. Let me make sure I got that right.
What's good? What's good?
Hold on, let's welcome that boy to What's up, brother?
You got the whole class cheering?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a special morning announcement, man. How you doing?
It's beautiful, beautiful. I'm doing beautiful. Life is good. Blessed. Chilling.
Oh, man, brother. I just want to tell you, bro, I didn't know that we would end up here after all these years. I'm grateful for what you have allowed me to do and learn with you, you know. So I just have to let the people know, like, before I got to where I'm at right here when it comes to the podcast side of the game, one of the instrumental people in this whole process was my brother Litty Willie. So I got to give him his flowers. We learned, we failed, we tried and tried until we perfected it. And once we got it right, oh man, we got it right. And I seen this brother go from an idea, just hanging it out at the crib, to, oh man, we was able to do a lot of great things within a short amount of time. So again, that's why I got to give him his flowers just one more time, because if it wasn't for my dog Litty Willie, you know, I got to be quiet. I'm getting a little emotional a little bit.
Man, it was a team thing, man. I never wanted to be just one thing, you know. I learned from you, you learned from me, and we did this together. You know, it would never be me without you and just everybody in our team. So definitely.
Matter of fact, let me see something, because if we on this window, I should be able to and bring you over. Oh, wait, something happened.
Oh, you just throwing me around, bro, like a dirty dish rag. Oh, now you trying to add another one to me?
No,
The world can't handle two of me.
that's the thing. I'm just trying to shut up. This nigga crazy. Okay, see, that's what it was doing. I gotta just still figure that out right there. But nah, but long story short, you guys, whoever y'all is, wherever y'all watching from, if y'all want to drop a comment, ask a question, feel free to do so. We'll answer them at the end. But yeah, right now I'm talking to my brother Litty Willie, man. I just want to ask you some questions about who you are, your journey, your process, and let's go ahead and begin. So, tell us about who is Litty Willie before the Litty Show.
Litty Willie before the Litty Show. I think I've been living the Litty Show without knowing I've been living the Litty Show all my life. Um, Me personally, I'm just a person that is wild, crazy, outspoken, shout out, lovable, and I've always just been like I've been a person with the spotlight in front of me forever, not intentionally sometimes, just because I guess of my character. But raised half my life in New York, my other half here in Miami. Um, Came to Miami in about 2003, first year of high school, not knowing nobody, didn't speak Spanish, wasn't Haitian, wasn't black, wasn't Cuban, wasn't Mexican. And it was rough trying to fit in at that time because, you know, being from New York, people from Dade County wasn't messing with people from New York like that. So I kind of like used my character of who I am and I don't like to even call it a character because it's who I am. Like if people know me besides you, I mean, anybody can say I am who I am everywhere I go. Some places a little bit more respectful and professional because I have to be there, act that way. But I just took my character and went to school and said, you know what, like I'm gonna find a way for me to for people to know me and fuck with me. So like I just started messing and dealing with people from all the little towns around here, Leeds City, Homestead, Florida City, Naranja, Perrine, Princeton, and I started getting like main people, like my main friends from there. But I said, you know, I'm not gonna stick to one person, one color, one creed, because that was the thing when I came down here to Miami. It was very, very like segregated. So I was like, I can't deal with this. Like, I'm cool with everybody. So I just started my own little thing. We started a little crew. It was called Detour. Don't trust any hoes. That's still tatted on me about 16 times. That was a family though. Still is a family. Um, and people just started to get to know me as Willie, Litty Willie, New York. Some of them call me New York, even though I don't. I got my pass revoked from New York just this past year. I've been in Miami for 20 years now.
You say you got your pass revoked?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was actually I did a New York, I did a New York run. It's fucked up, because I when I go to New York, they say like I sound like I'm from the South, and when I'm in Miami, they say I sound like I'm from New York. So I don't know where the fuck I fit in anymore, bro. Honestly, I think I'm just my own me. But I did go and I ran a run in New York. Shout out to On Point like OP and Dusty Lil Kane. Did plenty of music with Pop Smoke. And at the end of the interviews, I'm like, yo, I'm still from New York, right? And they're like, nah, you good, you good, you good. After doing the interview and giving them the knowledge of what I knew from New York. So I'm the best of both worlds, bro. Come on, like seriously, like you know what I'm saying? What better than New York and Miami? As much as they clash, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. So let me wait. Oh crap! What I done did? Nope,
You
not
just
that
got
one.
me on the video right now, the whole screen. I got like control of everything right now.
Yeah, I know, I know. I am just trying to.
My
There we
motto
go.
does go though, born in the Bronx, made in the Dade.
You
That's
already
my
know,
motto.
man. Shouts out to my dog. Nope, that's the wrong one. Nope, that's the wrong one.
He gonna run through all of them now.
There you go. Born in the Bronx, raised in the day, man. What would be it without the 305? So we got your origin story. So the question is, take us on maybe like a brief journey prior to when we hooked up at Mix Masters and made, excuse me, that version of the show. Tell us about a little bit what happened before, and then bring us right up to that point.
So before studio,
Yep.
be quick. 6 years ago, me and my brother are known for drinking, having fun, a good time. Me and my brother, shout out to Buddy. Um, Buddy is a rapper, although he doesn't rap. So I had the French Montana mentality of French Montana. He started this thing called Smack DVDs. He would go and interview people um, in the hood and put his music in the background. So this was when Drink Champs had just was like they haven't even gotten visuals yet, and I heard Drink Champs. I'm like, this shit is dope. So I was like, yo, let's go live. Not even think about anything of a podcast. So 6 years ago, New Year's Eve, we got live. We went live, and this is before live is popping. As soon as we went live, in about 15 minutes, we had 110 people on our live. Now, 110 don't sound like a lot, but 6 years ago, that was a lot,
Yes,
and
sir.
people like, oh yeah, y'all drunk, y'all talking shit, y'all need to do this again, blah blah blah, whatever. And right there, boom, light bulb. I was like, oh bro, if we could do a podcast every week, I could bring back your rap career and like put you rapping in the background, and people would hear your music and be like, who's that? And I'd be like, oh, that's my brother, that's buddy, blah blah blah, whatever. So then for what's 52 plus 52, 104 for 2 years straight. We did an episode every Friday. This is on our couch, no studio, no nothing. Interviewing anything and everybody, just bringing people over. Shout out to all the local people that came by. Shout out to Spo. Shout out to Di. Shout out to Rick. Shout out to. I mean, I don't even want to forget names. I hate to do this because, like I said, it was
Mm-hmm.
104 episodes straight. Um, you came in one night with Spo and them. Shout out to Chevy, rest in peace. He
Rest
came
in
out.
peace.
There was just so many people, but we used to get so blasted, bro. I can give y'all stories like people used to leave my house. They used to go to jail. They used to get into car accidents. They baby mom was pregnant or females pregnant. That's how drunk and wild we was getting. So fast forward 2 years into it. There's a lot of stories. 2 years into it. Shout out to 24hourhiphop.com. They seen what we were doing and they're like, bro, like you're consistent. That's the number one thing that sticks out. You have done like you've never missed a Friday. We've shot episodes on vacation, on the road, in the hood. There's a lot of places that we did episodes at, and they were like, "Yo, we want to bring you to a studio." And this is when 24 Hour Hip Hop connected us with Mixmaster. Shout out to Mixmaster. Shout out to Hayes. Shout out to Rip. Shout out to Flocker. They gave me shout out to Dash. They let me go in there and just started interviewing people. G Money was my first interview in that studio. Shout out to G Money. I still rock with him today. And I went in that studio and I started off on a couch, not in the studio, in the lounge, on a red couch. And they tested my consistency. I can tell you, like they wanted to see was I really about it, and I think I did 12 episodes. And shout out to DJ Hayes and shout out to Chris 24hiphop.com. They're like, bro, like you really are not stopping. And I'm like, nah, like this is a passion for me. Like I really like that. And I had some things going on too. I was going through a divorce at the same time, battling, drinking heavy. And that was when they Chris told me like if there's one thing I can critique is you get too drunk. And I was like, I'm not used I just do it for fun. And he's like, if you're trying to get further, you have to control yourself. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. Um, and that's probably maybe a season before you got in. That's still when we're rocking with dark lighting and shout out to Yumi, man. If you go back and watch my interview with Yumi, we couldn't see nothing but teeth and eyes, man. So we didn't know shit about lighting and nothing like that. Shout out to Yumi. That was a dope interview. I did not mean to disrespect him like that, but I'm not a cameraman, so it was dope. It was dope. But yeah, you came in. We created a team. Shout out to Jay. Shout out to BTS. Shout out to 24. Um, we did something special, bro. When you walked in, you had the same mentality and the same idea all of us had. I mean, I left out a lot of parts. Between all that, my brother did leave the show. Every shout out to John Paul. Sorry, cut him out. My brother did leave the show, and I do remember that everybody was kind of panicking on. Besides you, everybody was panicking, like, "Oh, what are we gonna do? It's a two-person show." And I remember you telling me, like, "Bro, you got this. You got this. Like, you ain't got to worry about that." And that's when I was just telling everybody, I'm like, "Listen, we good." And no disrespect to my brother. After my brother left, I mean, Robbie did jump on the team 24, BTS, everybody was there, but I mean, I think I just felt like I had something to prove, bro. Like when my brother left, I'm like, I got to do this. Like I think I was already 3 years, no, 2 years into it already, and I done wasted so much. I didn't waste. I invested so much time and money and effort and everything into it, and my life was transitioning through all that, and I didn't want that to be a phase. I wanted that to be like a story of triumph. Like, I've been through all that shit. Why am I gonna give up my passion? This is something I like. I genuinely like this. Like, how people go to basketball courts to play basketball, I podcast. And I know
Mm-hmm.
it was supposed to be brief. My bad. I talk a
No,
lot.
bro. That's what we're here for. We're here to hear your story. Continue. It's getting juicy.
Right.
Go ahead.
Um. So no. I mean, like, it's a passion for me. It's really I literally enjoy speaking to people. It wasn't always hip hop. It was everybody. Like, I've interviewed business owners, pee wee coaches, handball players, um, um, studio owners, technicians,
Let me ask you a
music
question.
technicians.
Let me.
Hmm.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but let me ask you a
No, go
question.
ahead.
Like, what was your process from just talking reckless, having fun while you're getting lit, to having to learn how to interview people, and what was that process like transitioning and working to perfect that craft of being a podcaster?
Two things. One was actually something you and Chris pointed out to me, which was watching my own interviews, because I never watched my own interviews. I used to just do it for fun. I left out a lot of parts when I first started. I did do Instagram, Facebook Live, and YouTube at my house. So when it was over on live, I just, like, whatever, upload it, fuck it, whatever. And I was getting good feedbacks. I didn't have nobody telling me, "Oh, you too wild," or, cringe self. So nobody's gonna really tell you fucking up. Um, and respect, bro. I always respected people. Don't get me wrong. I've never came out of pocket. You can watch any one of my episodes. Never came out of pocket and disrespected anybody. But when you're interviewing somebody about their passion, if I'm coming off sloppy, it feels as if maybe, in my opinion, that I'm hindering their story, sort of, and that's how I looked at it, and I guess it worked, because when I looked at it like that, I did do better. But nobody never told me, and opposite, people were like, "Yo, that shit was lit. I had a good time," but I did have to watch myself and see what I was going through. I was going through a lot of emotional problems at that time too, um, which I spoke about on a lot of episodes, and I still talk about to this day with everybody. Men are not supposed to express themselves and be tough and this and that. And I was a single dad, working, chasing a passion, going through a divorce, and all this other bullshit, trying to lose weight, this, that, and the other. So it was a lot on me, and the only joy and escape I felt I had was partying, drinking, and having fun with people. But sometimes your fun may not be fun for somebody else, and you have to think about other people.
Big facts,
And I
big
do get
facts.
obnoxious.
But see, I definitely want to let you know I appreciate you being open to your vulnerability, because some people won't speak to that, because being somebody in the public eye, they are easy to criticize and point the fingers at what you should be doing, or don't do this, don't do that. And it takes a lot to sit in that chair and be open to the world like that. You know what I mean? So, and put you in the back seat as you're trying to move forward in this lane. You have to put all your personal to the side, and turn it on at a moment's notice, and give the room that version of yourself, if you understand what I'm saying.
Correct.
So I know I've watched you do it a whole bunch of times, and I've been like studying that part of you. Like, no, it's all cool to be entertaining, but like you definitely have showed me that you have worked at mastering that part of you, and I got to give you the praise again, to give you your flowers, because I've seen you
Appreciate it.
elevate and like go from just winging it to like stepping it up, and knowing how to get great answers out of people, and keep that person engaged, and keep them laughing, and doing your homework on them. They hit you with the, "Damn, son, where'd you know what I mean, where you find this?" Because they ain't never, like, so that's why I wanted to ask you about your process, and like just being somebody in the background who has actually firsthand witnessed you. Like, yo, your process of being a dope interviewer is fire. So we got to drop the
Ah,
one time for my
ah.
dog. One time for my dog. Okay.
Yeah, I started this in my 30s, and I feel like, excuse me, my 30s were like my lowest but highest peaks of my life. Like I really feel like I didn't hit rock bottom in the sense where I lost, but I did hit rock bottom to the point where I never looked at myself. I was always a person where I never looked at myself. I just did and said, and it was never ill intent. Like I never went to intentionally put somebody down or something like that, but I've always spoke without kind of thinking what my words could mean or meant. And shout out to Mike Smith and Matt. Shout out to both of them because I did an interview with actually both of them, and I stated I think in a sense where somebody was better than other somebody, and not in a sense where like better, but I appreciated or I liked something more than the other one, and both of them were like, I didn't know I was that big. Honestly, I didn't know my voice was that big, and they were like, "Yo, you got to influence. Like, you really got to influence down south." So when you say that, and I told them, there is no kind of ill intent behind it. I just like this person on this track at this time. There's nobody better in my opinion because y'all both dope artists. But that was my first time ever understanding that I am technically an influencer. However, somebody wants to take it and want to watch this interview right now and say, "Oh, you ain't that big." Well, all right, cool, whatever. But I've said things that put things triggered motions or shook floors or something like that. So that's when I really started to realize, okay, like you got to select and choose what you say, how you say, and move correctly, and speak correctly. And you guys taught me that. I'm not gonna, you guys were a major influence on that. I mean, seeing myself because if it wasn't for you guys being coaches behind the scenes, like a lot of people don't understand what it takes to run a team. Everybody thinks they can do everything on their own, and if you can, more power to you, Jesus Christ. Like you are the man or the woman, but I'm gonna tell you something too. You can ask anybody. There's somebody behind something. I doubt that there's somebody that's this big in this industry and is doing it single handedly alone. I don't think so.
So, how important was teamwork to your growth, your process?
The number doesn't exist. That's how high it is. The number doesn't exist. Even to this day, still, I'm still moving slowly, but I still go out and seek people's. I don't want to say opinion, but their feedback.
For sure,
Because I
for
mean, I'm gonna
sure.
do what I'm gonna do for sure, but I wanted. I'm interested to see how you feel. What do you think about this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to get that quality control in. You got to make sure
Right.
you know you got your ears to the streets, and because that shapes how you being received, and that's actually very important to the process of understanding how people receive you. You know, you might think certain things are cool or whatever, but as a public speaker or somebody in the eye of the public, man, they watch everything. So let's let's transition to something really quick because I'm trying to get on my interview stuff, talking to the man with the
Oh
plan.
man. Oh man. I
I
already see
want
that face.
I want you to give me one thing that stands out that was one of the wildest questions you ever asked somebody, and what were their
Do they eat ass?
responses?
Do they eat ass? The most funniest, cringiest thing that got canceled on my show. That the only thing I ever disagree with Chris about.
You asking
Ass
people what?
eating. Ass eating. Ass eating. Do they eat ass? Do they get their ass ate? Do they enjoy eating ass? When was the first time they ate ass? Do they eat fat ass? Do they eat skinny ass? Do you ever eat a pregnant ass? I mean, the list goes on. Hey, I don't care what anybody says, bro. It was funny. It was funny. It still is funny.
But shouts out to you with that approach to be entertaining, because sometimes, even like myself, sometimes we go on and we don't realize the importance of laughter and joy. And so
Yeah.
that's also something I got to give you your flowers on, because you will always make sure these guests were entertained. You would hit them with the random questions and just make them laugh and
I
come in.
wouldn't jump out the window with it in a disrespectful manner, but I would jump out the window with it where they were just unexpectedly not ready to answer it, but was just so they were like, "Bro, you really, really?" That and telling people I had no liver.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that. Used to be like, oh yeah, man, I had my kidney removed and
Liver,
oh, I
liver.
mean, you had your liver removed, and they be looking at you like, what? You could drink like that? No, I'm just fucking with you. I just had to break the ice really quick, and they be like, this nigga.
Shout out to EFN. EFN thought he had me, and then he kind of like, wait, you really have? He even said, he's like, bro, there's no way you can live without liver. I'm like, yeah, bro, I get dialysis every day. I mean, that's why I get drunk a lot because it goes straight to my bloodstream. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, for real. And he's like, bro, you really have no liver? And I'm like, nah, I got it. So I had got a lot of people with that one too. That one was funny. I
So
should bring him back.
let, let's shift it to the other side. What's something
Uh
that
huh.
you asked somebody that got you in trouble, or they had to pull you to the
Some
side, like, hey, you know what I mean, or you had to have management in the background, like, hey, don't ask them kind of questions to kind of people, like, what's something that you ask somebody outside of that funny one?
um. So you know me already, but if the people don't know me, I ask all and every person I interview before I interview them. Is there anything you don't want to talk about? Is there anything you cannot talk about? Or is there anything that you are is just completely off the table? I never ever my biggest fear actually is and some people don't care. My biggest fear is disrespecting anybody in any sort of way or making them look dumb. That's not I am totally against interviewers that are looking for clickbait or something that's gonna piss a person off or I don't do that. The only thing that people will always say yes to and don't care about, yeah, 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 whatever, whatever. But then when I bring up relationships, people will always like, oh, take that out. Because I guess they forgot that they fucking with somebody and they got a side bitch and this, that, and the other. And then they, they drinking. They forget shit that they saying. And them spirits and them demons come out when you drunk. So yeah, relationships, if anything. But never have, no, that I remember of. If you remember anything, you let me know. But
Well, how about let's speak to that. Like, how was that managing, developing, growing this idea of being this on-air personality and managing being a father, a full-time um, dad, and husband at that time? Like, how was it managing your professional creative life and your personal life? You don't have to get too in depth, but just speak about your process during that time of handling, juggling all that.
it comes down to, as you stated, having a good team. Um, my kids, I mean, manage. I've been at the same job for 15 years, so I manage a company, and I have 50 employees under me, and I got to answer to about 10,000 people. So managing that alone, what I was doing was pretty hard. But you got to know how to, politics. You got to know who you are and know who to be, how to be, when to be, and know how to turn it off. Being a father, I mean, I'm a father before anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's my first priority in life. There's nothing that comes before my family, my kids. So that was kind of easy because I knew that as long as they're good and when I'm out doing shows, this and that, they when they were younger, they really didn't ask. Now they'll be like, "Oh, Dad, you got a show. Oh, Dad, you got a show." But it's about having a team. Shout out to my girl that I'm with now. She was like, I mean, I met her at my show, so she knew what she was getting herself into, and it's funny because like we're complete opposites. She's very quiet, and I'm very loud. She doesn't like the spotlight. I don't fear the spotlight. So the balance worked out, but it's about having a good team. Like as long as you got a good team, you're gonna be a successful person. And I think it worked when me and my girl got together because she knew what basically she was getting herself into with like being on shows. I know my boundaries. I'm not gonna say disrespectful things to women, whether I got a girl or not when I'm interviewing a woman. So my woman doesn't have to worry about me now. I'm if I gotta ask sexual questions or things like that, she knows where I stand with that, and it's entertainment. You know, I mean, as long as there's no lines crossed, I don't think so. I guess it comes back to once again, because even being in a relationship is part of being in a team. So if you're in a good team and you have a good team and they understand that, you're good. I've never really had an issue with my personal life and my show. Besides the one time recently when I went to New York, my girl has never been away from me that long. So it was a week without being away. But you know, it's one thing not being with somebody, and then it's one thing not being able to be with that person or communicate with that person, because it was just strictly work when I was on that whole week New York tour. So it was a little bit of a different thing that we went through, but I've never really had, because I always keep grounded, Robbie. I stay grounded. I always put my family as number one, no matter what I'm doing. So, a job, a relation, no, nothing is. My family always comes first. So I've never really been. I know I'm repeating myself, but my family is what keeps me grounded.
It's all good. Listen, we wanted to be real. We wanted to be organic because that's what you taught me. Like, not to be a robot with it, be to always add that human element to it and let people know that you are a person, regardless of the accolades, regardless of the journey and all that great stuff. Just still be relatable. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Still be somebody that the people can touch. So, again, bro, shouts out to you. You don't you don't know how much you've inspired me and how much I've watched you, and you just kind of like added nuggets along the way and just impacted my life. So when it came to doing this whole thing right here, that's why I was like, first thing first, for your boy, I got to talk to my dog. I got to talk to my brother because he's been such a powerful force in what I got going on, and I've been able to practice, fail, try again, invest, lose money, reinvest, reapply, rebrand, you know what I mean? Just reconnect and stay connected to
right.
the arts, and with that right there, like, hold on, wrong button, and with that right there, like, that's how we got to where we are. So again, the show is called Inspire to Innovate, which means bringing about change by something that just moves you. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
being able to see what you've been doing, and I was able to come sprinkle a little sauce on that boy,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Put
we
that
we
adobo. That's that song. I don't know what the Creole season is called, but yeah.
this nigga said sprinkle some adobo. Hey, my brother Wild and Random. Okay, I was trying to get him some more flowers, but he don't like all that mushy stuff. No problem.
Nah, I just listen. I just that I always see us as equal, bro. Like honestly, I think that was one of my like, and you know, shout out to Dash. Dash always told me, he's like, bro, you're too humble. Like sometimes you have to stop saying thank you to everybody, because there's things that, and I thought about it, and I'm like, because even like you said, like stay grounded, because I felt guilty if somebody wrote me on social media and I didn't write them back. Like there would be times after the show where I sit and comment every single thing back to somebody off that live or off that comment. So like I always want to be accessible to people, even though I know once you get to a certain celebrity status, you're not gonna be able to do that. And maybe I will, maybe I won't get to that level. I don't know, but I always wanna like I never want to be above anybody, bro. Honestly, I never want to do that.
So let's
I
speak to
want
that really quick. Like, you not having an assistant, or maybe I don't know if you did, but your process of staying connected to the people, whether it be in person, whether it be social media, whether it be, whatever outlet you was using, like, how was that for you staying engaged with the people?
expensive, and I'm gonna speak on this real quick, and but I'm gonna speak it to the people that don't know. I lost a lot of money, and I didn't lose it. Excuse me. I invested a lot of money into myself for other people.
For sure.
I've done a lot of podcasts with people and for people, for free. Um, after my resume has grown, um like I've sat with some great people in the industry, some bigger people in the industry. I've sat in um music exec. I mean, to toot my own horn, motherfucking Warner Brothers, Empire. I've sat in studios of people, and for me to come home, and my motto is to always put on for Homestead. And if you don't know where Homestead is, a very small city. But for me to come home and come back with like that stamp on my shoulder, like, yo, I'm certified somewhere, or I can put people in position, and I still gotta pay for you, like that hurt me because it was like, I can't even get the respect to where a motherfucker to be like, no, I'll pay for the everything. I'm not even asking you to pay for me, because if I wanted to be this guy that can get further, because I know where my flaws are at, why I can't get farther. But if I wanted to be this guy, when I wanted to be a Jay-Z mentality, like, y'all wouldn't be able to afford me. And I'm not trying to speak in a disrespectful point or nothing like that. And that's just not who I am. That's why I've never been at that point. But a lot of people lack business ethics. A lot of people lack common sense. And that's why I don't take it personally, because there's a lot of people in the music industry or just in the entertainment industry that don't know how to manage themselves. They don't even have a manager. As much as they want to say, this is my manager, that's my manager, they're home. I mean, your homeboy can't be a manager. Your homeboy does not have no managing skills. He's just the dude that collects the money. That's not a manager. So, they have no man, and that I have the upper hand when it comes to that, because, like I said, I've been managing a business for 15 years. So my manager, and I know my answers like all over the place, but basically, in a nutshell, you got to get your business right if you want to succeed in this business. You got to get your management right if you want to succeed in this business. The homeboy price and the homeboy thing only gets you so far. After that, then what? Because you can't walk into any kind of executive building and ask them or tell them, hey, sign me because I did a song with this one. Man.
Bro, you are dropping gems left to right. My bad. I'm just in the background also, multitasking. That's just what I do.
Right, right, right,
But at the same time,
right.
like you speaking to a very important component of the game. Like a lot of people fall short because they don't understand the amount of business that goes to flowing a creative idea, flowing
Right.
a business venture. You got to have your things in order. So, how about you speak to some of that? Like, what was your process on like learning the business so you can do what you love to do?
Um, Networking, bartering. If you don't have money, a lot of people don't have the knowledge of bartering. Um, a lot of people have. A lot of these people that going into this industry, first of all, never even had a job, never even had a, they grow up and they come into this industry. Oh, I don't need no job. I never worked for the man, blah, blah, blah. And that's cool. All right. You want to have that mentality of you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is. But where's your knowledge in business? Where's your knowledge on how something works? So, I have that knowledge of business. I have that knowledge of networking and speaking to people and speaking publicly. So I would go to different places. Now, mind you, I'm only drunk or drinking when I'm doing an interview. Behind closed doors, I'm listening, I'm talking to people, I'm shaking hands and rubbing elbows, and I think drinking did hinder me a lot as well, because a lot of people that are in the bigger positions are just looking at me from my show, from my character. Because I
Mm-hmm.
did speak to a lot of people off shows, and they're like, "Oh, okay, this guy is not no fucking crazy drunk, So he's talking about he has a structure." And I think that's when me and you connected, because I know that you seen that, okay, he's this guy here, but he can be this guy there. Um, but I learned, I just started networking, bartering, bro. Going back to bartering. So sorry, I got sidetracked.
No, do
Bartering
your
is very
thing. You good?
important. Bartering is very important when you don't have a budget. If you don't have a budget, first of all, you're not gonna go nowhere. Nobody's gonna give you money, clout, time, or anything for free. You have to do something to get assisted with. So, you have to lower your standards and take the mentality of, first of all, you're not gonna walk in and be paid for your passions. It's not gonna happen. So if you're a rapper, if you're a podcaster, if you're anything you are, what you think you are, be prepared to go into the negative. You're not gonna break even for a while. And if you do, God bless you. But remember one thing, anything that comes fast is not worth shit. So if it comes fast, it ain't gonna be appreciated, it ain't gonna be respected, you're not gonna understand how to deal with it. We've seen a lot of people in the big industries that got rich fast and lost it faster because
Mm-hmm.
they did not know how to manage it. They did
Big
not know
facts.
what the worth. Like, you have to have people behind you to tell you, you got 5 grand, don't go fuck it off. Like, and a lot of people get paid 5 grand to do a show. And a small time rapper gets paid 5 grand to go do a show in the club. But the club knows what they're doing because they're gonna give him the 5 grand. And he's gonna end up spending 10 in the club after tricking, buying liquor for everybody and food and the athletes and all that in the club. And by the time he looks at it, he owes the club money after he thought he got paid that money. So bartering, learning how to do less. I mean, learning how to do more without pain. Going to people, going to your cameraman. Hey, how can we work this out? Not just, yo, you know me from this, that, and the other. Can you do this for me? No. Like, for me, for example, I'm a podcaster. If you come to me and you say, how much do you charge? First of all, I'm going to tell somebody straight out, and I'm still backwards with this, but I'm going to tell them straight out. I'm not looking for money for myself. Pay for your interview. Pay for your editing. Pay for your studio. Pay for whatever. Oh, look, I'm fucked up right now. First of all, you should not be coming at somebody like that if you're trying to go somewhere because nobody wants to babysit anybody. But if you come at me like that, humble, whatever the case may be, what do you have? And then I give a person a spreadsheet. This is what studio time costs. This is what editing costs, and this is what this costs. Can you pay the editing? Editing's cheaper than the studio. Okay, I'll pay the editing. Okay, now the studio. Let's say we got 2 hours. Can you bring somebody in? I'll shoot them a 15-minute interview. Y'all can split the studio in half, and y'all can figure something out. Yeah, I could do that. All right, but we still got another $100 that needs to be covered. Um, can you promote this for me? Can you promote that for me? Can you put this out there for me? Like, give somebody something where you can tell them, I ain't got the money, but I can do something that will equivalent, whatever, I don't know if that's a word, be equivalent to whatever that cost is. So when you're showing effort and stuff like that, although, like I stated, you shouldn't even be coming at nobody saying, I ain't got no money. But if you do, don't like barter. And if you don't know the definition of barter, Google it, use it,
Hold on,
find out what
hold
it
on,
is.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I think some of that is going over some of y'all heads, so it's a must that I go ahead and interject really quick. First of all, that led to a great point. What he's talking about with the barter system is what's also referred to as an exchange of service or goods. And in this day and age, if you ain't got your stuff together, then you should not necessarily you ain't got your stuff together, but when you in certain positions of partnerships, which should be more beneficial to however you're trying to move. If it's not going to be a physical exchange of currency, you guys should be trying to figure out how to exchange services or goods. So if I could do something for you or offer you a package of said service and you can get a gain from it as well, then we have a common ground where we can meet at, and that's like the basis of any partnership. And sometimes artists or people may not have no money, but again, what else can you do? Are you gonna share? Are you gonna promote? Are you gonna bring people in? Are you gonna do your part on
Oh,
the back end? Are you gonna be able to make sure we can both walk away from this with a W? You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people don't realize like they come into you because you can give them a light on what they got going on, which could lead them to that money, which could lead them to that next opportunity, which could lead them to that next, door that opens up for them. So, yeah, man, you
that's
got
the
to
perfect
understand.
example. I don't want to cut you off, but that's the
Nah, go
perfect
ahead, bro.
example. So back to that. So here's the perfect example that can, and I say don't come to nobody without money, but here's the perfect way you can get something for somebody. So me as a podcaster, Robbie comes to me and says, Robbie, Willie, I want to get interviewed. All right, let's say the cost was $300 with everything. Um, I ain't got 300, but if I get you 5 people to pay for an interview right now for you, they'll pay you the 300, and I'll sell the show for you. I don't want no money off. I just want a free interview. Boom. You just bartered. You just bartered right there. So you brought the client, or you brought your value plus more actually.
Mm-hmm.
Because the 300 I was gonna get out of you, I just got 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, $1,500. I mean, I might even turn around and tell you, bro, I will give you $50 out of them each ones you give me because I feel bad. And matter of fact, you could come on my team and you could become the salesman on top of that, low key.
Wait a minute. Did y'all catch that? This grown man still counting on his fingers.
Yeah, for sure. I'm horrible at math. I'm like like I told you, I'm an open book, bro. Like, I'll tell you my flaws. I am fucking horrible in math. Shit.
Nah, man, I wanted to speak to the business because in this game of entrepreneurship, like that's how we survive. Making sure our business is in order, especially when we trying to fund creative projects. And you're gonna lose as you learn, unless you have like a good team, like you say. You got some mentorship, you got some coaching, or you got somebody experienced around you that can kind of guide you and give you some guidelines. But a lot
Right.
of times, as like solopreneurs is what we call them, like you're figuring it out as you go. It's a lot of trial and error on your growth journey. So again, sometimes you're gonna learn by losing. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes the biggest lessons are learned. And matter of fact, I can leave you with this. Like sometimes two of them L's actually makes a W. You get what I'm saying? Like so you can still stack W's when you realize how many lessons you learned by losing, and then you know what I mean, bring it back and double up on them. So again, like brother, I've seen you do a lot of great things and move to keep the brand going. And we literally went from like somebody asked me this the other day, and I said, nah, man. With Litty Willie, I think we shot over 200 episodes,
For sure.
maybe more, maybe more or less. But we put in the reps to where like we figured out different concepts. We tried different things. That means bringing in different groups of people, different audiences, going to different studios, trying different looks. So to you guys who are watching, this is not just somebody who is just somebody talking on a show. Like this is somebody with some concrete experience and knows what he's talking about when it comes to this. And he's interviewed every local person or common person, your friend, your neighbor, to high profile celebrities, people of influence in different markets, different industries. You know what I'm saying? So that's why
Correct me if
like
I'm wrong. The easiest part for us was doing the interview. That was the easiest part, honestly.
and because we were still trying to figure out our structure of how we gonna bring people in, like websites, managements. It's like all kind of things in
Promotions and all that.
the system or the provision in place in the background is what you struggling to keep up or working on being more proficient and consistent in. Because if that system not in place, somewhere along the line you're gonna fall and it's gonna hit
Right.
you in the face. And a lot of times we don't know all those things. We not the best with this or the best with that, and that's when you got to learn. Like, oh, if I don't work
Right.
on my left, I'm never gonna get right. So let's switch it up to something.
Switch it up. Let's go.
Okay, so you
Got a little
being
blasphemy right now. I got a Patron box on a Bible. I don't know if God is watching.
nah. Listen, let me explain something to you. Whatever you do is what you do. As long as you
That's a
go
fact.
home, you take care of your family, you make your money, you good, my brother.
I gotta cut you off and throw some funny gems in this shit. Like, it's not regular. You know, I gotta
No, no.
teach you how to not keep this dry shit.
Oh
We gotta
no,
keep
no.
it.
Oh no, she know I don't keep it dry. Two in the pink, one in the stink. Hey, but
There you
anywho,
go. Next.
anyway, this nigga. Okay, so one feature that some people don't incorporate in their podcast journey is a live studio audience.
Mhm.
And I'm speaking to this because it's a whole nother side of this when you can do this in front of people versus when you in a closed environment with said people in the room.
Controlled environment. That's
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
need to call it.
yeah. You in a controlled environment. So again, a part of this journey, I got to work with you, and we scaled it to where we actually had a live audience.
165 people plus.
Put some respect on my dog name. And that's not something easy to do, and that doesn't happen without a team. So the next question would be, what's a two-part question?
Hmm.
Speak to the process or the difference of doing it in a controlled environment and having a live studio audience. And to sum it up at the end, what would you do better now that you look back on it and see we could have all done this or done that to keep that going?
So with the controlled environment, which is non-audience, what we could have done better, and I think that's when it comes back to having a solid team, is making sure that we are more efficient with time prior to the show. Um, Artists are unpredictable, so they are going to show up on time or extremely late. But you have to be super efficient before they get there. And when I say that, everybody has to be on the same time schedule, meaning, in my opinion, if you're doing a show with somebody in a controlled area, you need to be at least, at minimum, an hour before the person's supposed to get there. And that's setting up everything. Now, if you have major equipment the way we did with puzzles and pieces, I would say 2 hours, and you need to make sure y'all need to at least have 15 minutes of doing nothing and prepping the podcast artist with everything set. With a controlled environment, uncontrolled environment, which is a crowd, is a whole nother ball game. With the uncontrolled environment, you need staff. This is not a team no more. You actually need a staff. You need a person that is going to do doors. You need a person that's going to go and do take care of vendors or be in charge of the vendors if you have vendors there. If you don't have a vendor, you need to be have a person that's in charge of dealing with the person who's in charge of the venue or owns the venue. Then you need crowd control before the person comes out. You were a three-man part of this show, and you did crowd control before these shows started. But you need a person with crowd control. My easiest thing for that is a DJ. You know, get a DJ, put a DJ on there, play some tracks, play some music, get somebody on the microphone that's not scared to speak, keep everybody entertained till that show starts. Then you also need your technical team, which is the Robbie Joe experience that a lot of people don't understand. When they paying that money, that's what you get in the Robbie Joe experience. Now, this Robbie Joe experience takes a lot of things. We're talking about wires, plugs, seats, lighting, chairs. You really don't understand what goes into that. Then you need another staff member just to deal with the guests who I'm interviewing or who the podcaster would be interviewing. You want to make this person feel as if they're special, and you want to have somebody to make them feel comfortable before they sit down, because you don't want them to be camera shy, or you because as much as a lot of these people that are getting interviewed, you think that they're used to that or they're okay with that, they're not. A lot of people don't have uh, uh, I don't know what's it called, training to be on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have somebody to slow them down and keep them leveled, not just keep them in the room or keep them at the door, not entertain them, because what could happen is if you're not prepping them and you're not entertaining them, they may just have stage fright and say fuck this and leave, and you're not even knowing what's going on. And then also then you need somebody with the podcaster. You need to have the podcaster being informed, taking care of the podcaster, making sure they're good. What I could have done differently on the controlled site is maybe not drink as much in the beginning, and maybe drink when I did the show, and I started doing that when we did the live actually, because that first episode I did with the crowd when I was drinking before, and I actually sat down and seen people, and I was like, whoa, like this is a whole different ball game. I didn't fumble, but I did see where I was like, okay, you need to be on your toes. You're stepping out, and you're like, people. There's eyes on you. It's different when there's a camera on you. There's eyes on you, And my biggest fear in podcasting is dead sound. Like
Mm-hmm.
I hate when there's dead sound. So now I have to think about the person I'm interviewing that's gonna give me dead sound and the audience giving dead sound. So if I don't got the audience engaged, I don't got them laughing, I don't got them oh, I don't got them oh or this that. If I don't got no kind of feedback from that audience, I feel like a failure. And when I feel like a failure, I get nervous. And then I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit, everything's gonna go down. I mean, not a lot of podcasters can understand that if they haven't did this. But yeah, that's the answer in a nutshell, I guess.
Again, my brother, great answer. Because again, some people aren't that level. They don't know the process, and you went from operating out of your home to booking a facility and bringing in X amount of people into the operation to be able to have something like that come to life. And being somebody that was on that team, I learned a lot from working with all of you guys, because a lot of times creatives are just like soloed off and they just be doing one off type projects. So when you see something like that and you see the effect it has on people, like I can never forget the feeling I felt like when we actually looked over and I'm like, yo, this whole room is filled with people who are enjoying what we love to do, and we brought them all here. And like it was like the vendors outside, we had people on the inside enjoying themselves. It was like it was a beautiful experience. And
We had
again,
three parties before the show. We had people on the outside pre gaming, we had people on the inside pre, and then we had people in the back room. So it's like it's a lot, man. It's a lot, and I
let's
loved it.
and let's not forget one of the most important parts. You also had live performances.
Yes,
Like
yes. And I had to be in those videos, and I had to. I mean, I loved it, bro. Honestly, I would, if anybody called me today, and that'll be an answer for you without a question that you asked. If anybody asked me today, what would I prefer, podcasting in a controlled environment or uncontrolled environment, I would pick uncontrolled environment any day. I would love to do a show in front of people before I did it. And remember, our first test run to that before we had an audience is shout out to Chris Vision. We did an event with him in a festival where we interviewed people inside of a festival as the festival's going on. Well, so we got like half the people watching the festival, and then they got half the people watching us, and it was hard, but I love it. Like I love it. I like just being in front of people and getting expressions out of people. Good expressions, not
yes,
bad ones.
sir. Yes, sir. That's what it's all about, man. Making people feel good, making people feel
Yes,
great. Okay,
yes.
okay, okay. So,
Shout out to the zero free sugar today soda. I'm not drinking liquor, so different man. Zero
so
sugar.
there's
This
another
is
thing
my
we gotta.
treat.
There's another thing. This is why we giving him flowers, cause like I told him to his face, like, bro, there were times on camera you look like a bag of soup. That means you be slush. That means you be sloppy, and you don't realize your presentation is off. And my job as the person that's on your team is to make sure you look above and beyond 100% at all times. And I've seen my brother transform from just winging it
Shit to
to
sugar. Shit to
nah,
sugar.
nah. This ain't even sugar, bro. This more premium than that. You feel me? Like this is an acquired special taste. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to
Ah,
prepare for a role like this. And nah, man, like you definitely transform. You definitely been hitting the gym, staying consistent. You definitely been like you could see the elevation in your life. And my dog's very public with his lifestyle and who he is. And if y'all
for sure.
following him on Facebook, stuff like that on Instagram, you could see like he's comfortable being who he is. This is not nothing that he's turning on because we're doing this. Like he's a great person, a great friend, a great personality. So you guys can take notes that are trying to get into this space and learn about how to entertain on this level. Like again, make sure y'all connect with him. This guy's a very, very, very well spoken, excuse me, on air personality, and he's dope as air off camera as well. So we're gonna transition over to something else. That's just my
Here we go.
thing. I'm still learning how
Here
to
we
do
go.
this like you do it. So
Here we go. Nah, this. You need to just keep it natural.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you something. Hold on. Nah, cause that phone blowing up. But anywho, talk to me about your dedication to the cause before I ask you this next question.
Uh-oh.
How dedicated did you have to be through the bad times, through the good times? Like, speak to your dedication to where you wanted to take your dream to.
You got cut off a little bit. You said my dedication to what?
I said I wanted you to speak to your level of dedication to where you wanted to take your dream to through the good seasons and the bad seasons of your process, your journey.
Is this podcasting or wait?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, in general, I'm just a dedicated person, and I do believe in I'm a religious person. I believe in God. But I believe in manifesting. I'm a strong believer of manifesting, and some people look at it more in an energy or a spiritual way, but I just look at it as common sense. Um, if you if you want to hit a 400 in baseball or a 400-foot home run, the only way you're not gonna do it is if you don't do it. Meaning, the only way you're not gonna get that 400-foot home run is if you say, I ain't gonna do it. Or I tried 50 times and I ain't gonna do it. I mean, if you are consistent and persistent, you're gonna eventually get something. It may take you longer than another person, but if you're dedicated and you want something, I mean, what keeps me dedicated or motivated is what I want. So if I that's why I tell people how bad do you really want it? How bad do you really want something? Only you can get what you want by putting your. It sounds cliche and it sounds like everybody says that, but it's just common fucking sense. If you want something, you're gonna do everything in your power to get it. You're gonna consistently keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. If you don't get it, it's because you didn't want it that bad. I don't want to hear the shit about it wasn't meant for you. That's bullshit. If you want something, the only thing you can't do, I'm gonna be real with you, is you can't live forever. That's my opinion. That's the only thing you cannot do, in my opinion. I mean, if you think otherwise or feel otherwise, let me know. But I think the only thing you cannot do is live forever. Other than that, don't do me, don't
Yo,
do
that's
me.
hot.
But
That's hot. What's the name of that? Yo, that's hot.
nah, bro.
Nah, but I'm gonna
You,
give you
how
the
much do you want it?
I'm gonna give you the secret sauce though. See, when we do this thing right here, what we doing, this is how you live forever. In the world of content creation, in the world of being a documentarian, a journalist, this is how you do live forever. Because just like in history books or anything that they showing you previous to this day and age or today, it's called history. And
Mm,
what you've been doing is solidifying yourself in a creative history vault. You have a catalog, you have things that can live forever, is basically what I'm saying when they go back and they
mm,
pull you up, when they look at your
mm.
resume, when they look at your catalog, when they look
Facts.
at the work that you put in the game. So just like there's
Yeah.
them old VHSs, and you see the grayed out stuff.
Physically live forever. You can never physically live forever, but legends never die, as they say. So yeah, I
Yeah,
do
man.
understand 100% where you're coming from, definitely, and I appreciate you putting me in that category because I'm not a person that likes gifts like gifts as in physical gifts. I'm a person that just I think it sounds a little vain, but I like just appreciation. You know what I'm saying? I like to for people to say you did good on that. You know what I'm saying? You did good on that. Or you're a good person. Because we live in a world where your flaws stick out more than your good. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be the best. I don't even want to say dad because let's take out that part. You could be the best toilet bowl cleaner in the world, but somebody will come up to you and tell you, "Oh, you clean shit all your life," but they don't be like, "Oh, bro, like you the best toilet bowl cleaner in the world," because little do they know you have the work ethic in you that you're cleaning toilet bowls, so you want to make sure that you do your best at it. And a lot of people just are so focused on bad people have when they don't understand we're all fucking human, bro. Everybody's human. Everybody has flaws. There's nobody better than somebody, or somebody like God is the number one. But as humans, you cannot sit here and try to say that you're better than somebody else. It doesn't exist, because I guarantee you there's something that that person has that you wish you had, and vice versa. So nobody's better than nobody, bro. I think we should lead with love more, and show appreciation to people for the things they do good, and that they won't really, they'll kind of step away from doing flawed shit because they're happy. I think a lot of people do flawed shit because they're unhappy. There's people that live in urban environments that literally are more familiar with hate and evil versus love and respect, because consistently all they hear is fuck that, fuck this, bitch, cunt, put like they're hearing all these things, and they're used to turmoil. So it's easier to tell somebody fuck you than I love you. It's easier to walk away from somebody than try something. It's easier to stay shut, not communicate, and walk away versus taking the time and saying, what's the issue? What's the problem? So I know I keep rambling on, but you know me, I got a philosopher's brain, and I'll get into this shit and be forever with it.
Listen, my dog is a well experienced young man, so that might go over some of y'all head. He trying to get into his philanthropy bag. You feel me? Like y'all understand. Y'all understand, but what he's saying is 100% true, So I hope y'all catching them gems, and I hope y'all plugging in. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a transition this over to something. Oh
Let's
Lord,
go.
I'm gonna
I want to write
transition
a
this.
book one day.
Nah, don't wait to one day. Do it today.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's exactly where we finna go. I'm a let me pull it up to make sure I got the right one. Um,
Go ahead.
so the reason why I asked you about that dedication was because I share a story before we go to this next one. I
Mm.
remember you told me we was gonna be interviewing somebody one day on Lit City, and that day I think I went to DR, Dominican Republic. Yeah. So
Yeah.
prior to going,
Oh
I had to
shit.
like load everything up and prep everything, make sure I was on point. I literally went over there, had a good old time. The day I'm getting ready to come back, I have like not the swap, but it was maybe like 7, 8 of them officers that rushed the hotel because I was
Yeah.
flying over the area with a drone and no fly zone, this whole thing. And so basically,
Ah.
I almost didn't come back on time. But the day I came back on time was the day we interviewed Gunplay. And when we interviewed Gunplay, we ended up doing this right here, which was like one of the rawest things to me. Like, of
uh.
course, we from Miami, we always looked up the MMG and all that kind of stuff. And this was our second
Uh.
time actually interviewing Gunplay. So you guys who are watching this now are seeing what we were speaking about with the live studio audience. He's still doing the interview. We had him doing a live performance. Like, this was like a packed out crowd. Everybody was free to do them. Man, like, so I want to
I
take
look like
you,
a rapper.
bro. You a living legend, bro. Like, you, come on, man. You solidified in history, bro. That's what I'm talking about. You're living forever through this. So I want you to go ahead and speak to this and like kind of just take us back to what's going on here. And
There's so many milestones in this video, like
talk to
like
me.
your story. So your story alone, you making it there, that being the number one sold out. The day we sold out the tickets for that. I met my girl for the first time there. Um, fuck. G Money was the first person that did my interview back when I was in Mix Masters, and G Money performed that day.
Shouts out to G Money.
Uh, Man, there was just so many. It's funny how you bring this up because there was just so many milestones when we did this. Shout out to Gunplay. So before we get started, I want everybody to know. Then they asked me, who's your favorite interview? Um, I always say Gunplay because Gunplay is one of the most like. I mean, I like him as a rapper. That's he's like one of my top fives from Miami because a lot of people don't understand behind his shenanigans. He is a fucking like he's a rapper. He's like a real rapper. He's a lyricist. He tells story. He's delivered. He does all that. But not only that, he is the most like down to earth person that there is. Don't get it twisted. My dog is a real life fucking goon, but it's not to try to be a goon to disrespect you. Like I was talking to this man about something, and I was like, "Oh, because I'm making this small money right now doing this security shit." He's like, "Bro, don't talk down on yourself. Like this is what you do. Like this is how you live." Blah blah blah. So it's not like he's even trying to encourage you to be no gangster, no G, no this and that and the other. So he's just one of the realest, humblest person. We've had some wild interviews with him, behind the scenes with him, dope person. But that was a milestone getting him on for the second time. Funny story behind that. I give you a story that not too many people know. He didn't know it was going to be a live audience. So he came out the car. I was standing outside, and he came out the car and act like he had a gun, put it behind my back, and I was like, oh, "Okay, I got you. Don't worry about it." So he walked in. He's like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "What you mean?" He's like, "Bro, you ain't tell me there's no live fucking audience." And this is back when Gunplay was let's say he stopped a couple things that he was doing. And he's like, "Bro, like, what the fuck?" And I'm like, he's like, "All right." So that's why I say salute to him, because any person in his caliber would have said, "Fuck this!" Like, you ain't tell me this, I'm out. And he reps for Dade, he reps for local, and I fuck with that. So it was a dope interview.
Well,
When
let me.
I had in my back of my head that you weren't showing up, so there was a lot of things going on.
Nah, man, that's.
You showed up very very late, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember, but I know I show up.
Not very late in the sense where the show couldn't go on, but I think you had us on our toes. Like I remember Chris coming to me, and shout out to Chris. I honestly thought he was fucking with me to 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 like get me to do correct, because he's like, "Hey, we might have." Chris Visions was there. Remember Chris? Shout out to Chris Visions, and he's like, "We might have to get Chris to shoot it." And I'm like, "What the fuck you talking about? Chris don't know what he's doing." And not to disrespect him in a sense where he doesn't know what he's doing because he doesn't know his craft, but he doesn't know how we operate. This is a whole fucking. We got the remember we had the TV with the thing playing, then we had the lights. This. I said he doesn't know our set, so not. Please don't take it as he didn't know what he was doing. That meaning he didn't know the set. He's like, I don't know, because Robbie said that he might not be putting up. So I was like, bro, stop fucking with me, bro. Like for real, like you don't see all the fucking people here. Like stop fucking with me. And mind you, I'm nervous. I met my girl for the first time too, so I'm meeting her, and then I'm drinking, and then they're like, Robbie says he's coming, and I was like, okay, like yeah. So then I think I was so happy, but so nervous that I was like, Robbie, tell me what the fuck to do. And everybody, mind you, we got 160 people plus here. Everybody's trying to talk with me, get pictures, this, that, and the other, and I'm like, and that's when I forgot who it was. They created a whole fucking like shut off zone for us. Like everybody was just blocked out. And it's hard because everybody knows me personally, so they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna stand with him. I'm gonna stand with him." And I'm like, listen, no, like, there's nobody allowed in this area. And then you just did the we call it the Robbie shit. Like the Robbie, he puts on that. Don't look at me. I don't know you. I don't know me. I just know what I'm doing right now. And then that's when you told me, you like, bruh, no disrespect. Just let me do this. And I was like, you know what? He knows what the fuck he's doing. Let me just step to the side. That's when I went into the dressing room. And I started drinking because I'm like, oh man, I hope this shit goes right. I hope this shit goes right. And it was one hell of a fucking episode, bro. I had a fucking great time.
Yeah, you said a lot of points in there. If I'm not mistaken, no, I'm tripping. I'm big tripping. That wasn't when I went to DR. That was when I went to
It was
Vegas.
somewhere where you went. Yeah,
I went to
Vegas.
Vegas. That's what it was. I went to Vegas, and I
You were
believe
on
they
a
like
vacation.
something like that.
Yeah.
We was, I think they like 2 hours or an hour behind. So when that situation happened, I didn't know what was going on, but I already knew what was on the line with A, we gonna miss this flight. B, I already got somewhere to be exactly when I land. So it was a whole thing. And then even on the way back, we got like it was something at the airport. Like you can't control that stuff at the airport.
Mhm.
Sometimes it just be
Mhm.
like random ass
Mhm.
delays. So me already know what I'm walking into. I'm like, look, everybody's is expecting me to be here, and I got to organize this bowl of spaghetti right quick. So excuse me right now. I'm just in my zone, and I got to figure this out because we behind time, man. So like the reason why I was asking you about like your dedication and your process because doing this thing, like I had to learn like so much about performing on a higher level because of what's expected of me. And like that's why I wanted to kind of give you the flowers and show you like this right here that's playing is because of our relationship. Like I grew to be that version of Robbie Joe because I had you guys around me and like y'all expected me to perform like at such a high level and y'all elevated me beyond like bro like I'm a superstar like and I'm not making it up like I tell people all the time like I go on tour as a creative artist working with different brands and people in all different kind of industries so it's like I've learned so much from this process that just changed my whole life forever and it's like so many people contacted me to emulate this same thing and I was like I could never do it because personally that's my friend. I went above and beyond for my friend. You understand what I'm saying?
I
What you
appreciate it,
asking me to
bro.
do
I appreciate
on a
it.
budget doesn't that ain't how this works. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
appreciate it.
nah man, brother, I
It's a
appreciate
moment
you.
that's gonna live in my heart forever. And I want to tell people two things. Number one, if you're gonna work with Robbie, well, first of all, let me rewind that. If you're gonna work in this business and you're under somebody's creative control, do not take anything they say or do personal. This is business, and there's gonna be times where tempers are flaring, and deadlines have to be made and things are going to be said, not in a disrespectful personal matter, but in a aggressive productive manner. And you have to not, if you got feelings, you got to go to the dentist to go get them pulled before you do this. And number two, if you're going to work with Robbie, be prepared to be ignored and get shit done. Not in a disrespectful manner, but he will ignore you, not because he doesn't want to hear what you're saying, because he's too busy trying to make shit happen.
Oh man.
Hey, am I
Hey.
lying?
No. Say it again for the people in the back that don't.
Like, they gotta understand, this is not him being disrespectful. This is not him trying to be a bigger man or a bigger person than you. He's just trying to deliver what he has in his brain, and there's a lot that goes through this man's brain
But
creatively.
what it is they don't really understand like at any moment's time of the day, I'm five people. When we go back to this right here, let me see. When we go back to this right here, I'm the light man, the sound man. I'm also doing security. I'm doing crowd control.
Crowd
I'm doing
control.
BTS. I'm also working with the staff to make sure management is good, artist is good. I'm always available for this. And then again, it's so many things that's
And the one
happening.
everybody forgets too, a dad.
Yeah, yeah, of course. That's I'm always juggling that in the background. So like my whole thing is, I'm sorry, this video's so hard, but yeah, yeah, my whole thing is like during this whole journey, I've learned like I'm balanced. I'm five people. Like I guess the best way to say this is, sometimes they be like, find one thing you good at and just do that, and I'm just like, nah, that sounds like you limiting me or putting a ceiling, and I never agree with that. So
I
it
see
was
you
like,
taking a personal challenge to that.
so it's like you could be a jack of all trades and master of none. I'm just like, yo, who told you people that? You know what? Fine.
Cat.
That's so. It's no, no. It's not cap. That is some people's realities. But in this creative world, it's like you can literally do whatever you want to do. So doing things like this, the Litty Show, was just me learning and practicing and fine tuning. So, bro, we've gotten to do some amazing things because of being
Two nervous
consistent.
moments.
No, no, being
That one and Jim
consistent.
Jones.
Hold on, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But being consistent, like even you just having that interview with Jim Jones, like you going state to state with your hustle. You going from county to county, like you, bro. It's again for you guys who are listening, man. If y'all don't know who this is my dog, Litty Willie. This
No, just
is
say like those two were my two most nervous moments in my whole career of podcasting. That one and Jim Jones. Those two right there. Other than that, they were all cake.
okay. Let me see. Let me see. Cause yeah, we going, and it's about time to wrap him up. Hold on. Let me see.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I,
sir.
I I officially don't got no outro for this, but what I can show you is this. I don't know if I did show you this. This is more or less
Oh
like,
man.
hold on, we ain't going now. I'm just showing you, like that's what that is. But I'm gonna cut off
Inspired
that.
to innovate.
Yeah, yeah. Inspired to innovate, like, cause I've been trying to figure out this space for a while, but I just been like, how am I gonna do it and what am I gonna do? And I'm thinking about this as an umbrella of also like teaching, doing courses, mentorships, doing an academy because it's more than just speaking to my friends about what we do, but it's about touching the people and impacting the people. Like you said, like live forever. Like you can come up with a book, you can write some stuff out or make some key points and just verbally speak it into your phone, record it, send it off to somebody on Fiverr. They can decipher it and put it in text format. You take a little photo shoot, you can make a book. You can do that done in 24 hours and have you a book that you can put online and sell as a digital asset. And bro, it's really that simple. We got AI here to help everything in the background. So it's like I'm also gonna make sure I leave these interviews by challenging you guys to say, hey, what can we do to top what we've done? We've done amazing
Mm,
things. We got a lot in the vault,
mm.
but what else can we do to keep your fire burning, brother? So
And
bef-
let's get together. Let's move. Let's make bigger things.
before we end the show, how about you tell people what's in store for you next? What you working on?
So I want to start off real quick and say, my one of my biggest. I used to think that my biggest thing was to get rich. My biggest thing to feel that I've completed this is to have one day somebody say, "You inspire me to do this, emulate what I did, make it better, and become super famous." Shout out to my brother Matt. I want everybody to follow him and know Matt. Matt has a podcast down here. Miami um, come up Miami. Sorry, but Matt's my brother, and I see him just moving and doing big things. But that's my biggest goal is to have somebody one day actually take it as serious as me, if not serious. And you know how like there's mini Drakes or mini this. I want somebody to be a mini Litty Willie one day and be their own person, but emulate what I did and make it 20 times better. Have me involved somewhere and how in it. Um, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Bitch, that's what I'm doing.
Nah,
No, no, no,
we
real talk, real
we
talk.
sit in the OG. I mean, even when they you being a part of that too is what I'm saying. Like doing what you did for me and doing what we did, but having a younger crowd because we are
For
getting
sure.
older, and it's not like we're gonna get old and we can't do this. Shout out to EFN, shout out to all the older cats doing it, Ebro, all them. But this there has to be we have to pass that torch too. You know what I'm saying?
This nigga here.
And but what's in plan for me is I want to start up a new season. I'm working on a new season right now. My next niche is gonna be um I want to get personal with people. I want to see tears. I want to see emotion. I want somebody to I want to hear stories. And shout out to Jasmine David. That was a real deep interview I did. If you haven't seen that one, go check it out. There was a deep story with that, and I felt her pain in that interview. I almost cried in that interview. But those are the kind of interviews I want to get into. I want to tap into my journalistic side, a little bit less drinking. I'm gonna keep that the humorous part in it, but I want to get into that. So that's next what I got planned for me. Other than that, if you're trying to work, if you're trying to look for a podcast host, I've been contracted to do podcasts for people. I'm open to work. I'm open to hear. I'm not a bougie ass on my dick person. I am reasonable. I'm not trying to beat people's heads. My thing always is trying to build my portfolio. I'm blessed to where I can feed my family and my kids. Um, so I don't say I'm not gonna say I don't need money, but I'm not thirsty to money where I'm gonna disrespect somebody and say I need $1 million to do this. But yeah, other than that, that's what I got going. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for our team. Um, Thank you for everybody that was on the road with us. I mean, I can name so many people, but Chris,
Chris
casting
Bo.
talent, Chris.
Oh,
Oh,
that Chris too.
yeah, that Chris too. Shout out to BTS. Shout out to
Ooh,
Vanna.
BTs.
Shout
Vanna.
out to Ish that was with us for a little bit of time. Shout out to Jay. Shout out to John Paul. Shout out to Jay's girl that was working the bar. Shout out to everybody in Mix Masters. Shout out to my mixtapes that gave me an opportunity to work with them and work for a season with them. Shout out obviously Robbie Joe. There was as y'all know already, as y'all heard, very very big intricate. I mean, but everybody, I don't want to take anything from anybody because anybody that ever worked with, or crossed paths with, or did something with was an intricate part of my journey. So thank you for everybody that I even just shook hands with and laughed with. Just thank you for that. Thank you for those times. Thank you for those opportunities. These they live forever in my heart, and on my dying bed, I think those will be the memories I will have next to my kids and my family. That's how close it is to me.
And that's the beauty of what we doing, man. We speaking from a passionate place as men, showing the world like this thing can happen if you believe in yourself. You can chase your dreams, excuse me. So you are a pioneer in the community. We come from the bottom of the bottom. That's Homestead, Florida,
Sir,
and we've been able
sir,
to bless and impact the world with what we do. So I definitely came on here to give my brother the flowers, let him know like
Yo,
sir.
that's hot. That's hot.
wrong. Let that boy know we got nothing but love for him on this side. We're gonna continue to
Appreciate it.
elevate. We're gonna continue to grow, and just to let you know, like yeah, we ain't really have nobody on the viewership because this is still something new. We ain't put nothing
Right.
behind it. This don't really got no feet behind it yet. But I appreciate you taking the time out your day to come bless me the way you have. And again, this is just a pilot. You dig? I I,
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
honored. I feel honored to have the man himself on my first remote podcast type show, and you will be back.
I'll be
So,
here.
all
Talk
right, brother.
my
I
shit.
ain't got no outros. I ain't got no sayings yet. I ain't got no slogans. I ain't got no catchphrases. I don't got none of that stuff just yet. I'm gonna just hit you with
I'll
some
give you
cool.
one. I'll give you one. I'll give you one.
Uh oh.
We're gonna close out just like this. It's your boy Litty Willie, and this is Robbie Joe, and you know the fucking vibes.
Yo, that's hot. That's
Damn, I hit the wrong button. All right, man. Big dog,
Love my
appreciate your
brother.
time. I'm gonna hit you in a few. Enjoy your
Yes,
evening.
sir.
Tell your family I said so. I'm gonna take it to someone.